Hey guys, and welcome back to Brooke&Bailey. So if you don't already know, me and Brooke did jump rope in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City in 2021, 3 years ago, and we just wanted to share our experience with you, so we're gonna talk about it. Oh, and I should also mention I managed to find some footage from a little bit of our experience when we vlogged it 3 years ago, so yeah, enjoy. Our most memorable performance was by far the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. It was such a cool experience. Like that and Worlds are like coolest experiences of my life. So Macy's, we had to fill out a application, and there were 100. They selected 100 or so jumpers. Of us, yeah. Anyways, and us and 4 other people on our team got to do it. So this was crazy. So back in 2021 was when we did it. In June was when we filled out the applications. And then we didn't know.
Found out in July.
Yeah, found out in July.
So we had to start practicing in August.
So basically we had to practice for a 3-mile jump, through the streets of New York, which was what we were gonna do for the parade, and then our Herald Square performance, which is the live television performance, and 120 jumpers doing the exact same double dutch routine. We'll explain how that went later. So then in August we started actually working on it and learning the routines.
We would get up in the summer and we would go to our elementary school and just
jump around the track. This was a huge endurance builder for me.
Because the 3 miles, it takes 2 hours to through all the stops and everything. We were jumping for 2 hours, so we had to build up that endurance because
you're
jumping for 2 hours is straight a lot.
Oh, so
September, it was
September. Oh my gosh, should we tell them the story?
Oh my gosh.
So we went to Ohio where the team that
Cleveland,
yeah, the team that kind of sets the whole thing up,
organizes
where that team is located.
We're out there.
So fun. Oh boy, this was an adventure, especially for us because we had a crazy flight story.
First of all, everybody's flights got delayed, so
because of weather.
Everybody got in at midnight.
Our
flight was supposed to get in at midnight in the first place. Yeah. And so we were already oh, we're not gonna get very much sleep, but it's okay. We'll still get there at midnight. We'll get to bed at 1, and we don't have to be up till 7. That's a good 6 hours. But then we got to the airport and we got the notification that was oh, just so you know, your flight is delayed.
Yeah. So our flights might be delayed 3 hours.
We might not get into.
I'm nervous because we need sleep. Okay, so
stuck at the airport
for 3 hours.
Yep, we're not gonna get in till 2 in the morning. We were oh shoot, we're not gonna get there till 1:30 now, but it's okay, it's whatever, it's fine. And then 10 minutes later, I kid you not, we get another notification. It's oh, your flight's actually canceled.
Yeah.
And we were we need to go to this practice or else we can't be in the parade. Yeah. And we wanted to be in the parade so bad, and we were literally gonna cry because we
were so stressed.
We don't have a flight anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so basically our flights were canceled. Yeah. And our only option is to find a different airline, basically.
We're not gonna get there until 6 in the morning.
Yep.
Even less sleep than we were planning on.
This is the most stressed I've ever been. Because we have to be there. Literally. We should have flown at 11 today.
We should have. Luckily, my mom was okay, well, our flight is canceled, but what's the closest you can get us? And so they were well, we have a flight in a few hours to Pennsylvania, to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
We are flying to Denver and then Pittsburgh.
We won't get until 1:30.
And then we have to rent a car, hopefully, or an Uber. And
drive for 3 hours.
Well, 2.5 hours, but 3, just in case. And then we have to sleep for an hour.
It's gonna be great. And we were
that was the closest we could get.
Okay, so we got on this flight and we landed in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at 2 in the morning.
Okay, we're
finally on the plane.
Okay, we're on the airport plane to gotta get there and then drive 3 hours to Cleveland. About to land in Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, we got a little bit of sleep, but not to sleep. Okay, we're in Pittsburgh. We're waiting for our Uber. Finally got to take our masks off.
Nope, now it's 2.
So dead.
2 in the morning.
But it's only midnight our time, so yeah.
We'll live.
We'll get to our hotel at 4 a.m. and sleep for like
Hopefully
3 hours.
2.5
hours. Yeah.
Tomorrow's
I'm like
gonna
not
be
tired
fun.
right now. I slept a little bit on the plane, but
Yeah, same.
I'm kind of not tired. But I'll probably sleep in the car.
Yeah.
Anyways. Bye.
And then it was a
2-hour
drive. So we had to get an Uber for 2 hours in this car with this random guy we didn't know for 2 hours to Cleveland.
And we were trying to sleep, so like
we checked into our hotel at 4 in the morning.
We're finally in Cleveland.
It's like
finally.
4 in the
4 a.m.
here.
2 a.m. our time.
Look at this nice sign. They're welcoming us at the hotel. Hopefully we can get some
It's been a
sleep
long
before
night.
tomorrow.
I only got like no sleep on the car. It's fine.
Yeah.
Had to get up at 7 and jump for 9 hours.
7 and jump for 9 hours.
It was crazy.
We were so
I was like,
tired.
Oh boy, that was crazy. But anyways, so for those 9 hours, we and the 120 other jumpers had to. So we split in like 2 groups, I think. And then for like half the day, one group would be doing the parade route outside in the parking lot, and we would like be going around the island. We're like, okay, we're gonna do 1 time. Okay, now we're gonna do 2 times. Now we're gonna do 3 times. And it was so hot outside. Also, we had to wear masks the whole time.
Yeah, because it was right
even
after
while we were
COVID.
jumping,
It was 2021.
and that was brutal.
That was probably the worst
yeah,
part.
that
We had to
was.
wear masks.
And we even had to do it during the parade, but we didn't have to do it for the Herald Square performance.
But that was a last minute
That was the
decision.
only.
We didn't even know that until like we were
Yeah.
on Herald Square. They were like, oh, actually, you don't need to wear masks.
So that was crazy. One half was doing that, and then the other half was in the gym, which the gym was like super hot because like there's no AC or something. Part of it was on like the turf. It's like this indoor soccer turf. But anyways, so we were practicing the double dutch routine, and that's what we were doing. We were doing the routine with these ropes. They are so chunky. They're so hard to turn.
Thick.
And
so heavy.
basically it was a 4-person double dutch routine. It's so hard to get the whole thing clean. We just did it over and over and over again. And we did the song Santa Claus is Coming to Town by this like random guy. And it's like
it's like a rock version.
Yeah.
And then it's like
we had to listen
country.
to it like over and over and over again for a whole
like 5
day.
Hours.
For a whole actually this practice thing was 2 days, so we had 2 9-hour practices this weekend. So we had to just keep doing it over and over and over again. And then during this trip, they decided to change it so like half of the people were doing single rope and half the people were doing double dutch. And
so our group
was it that way until New
Dutch.
York?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our group was still double dutch. We had to keep doing it. There's 2 people in the ropes, so it's like super hard to like not mess up. And
it was fast.
It was a fast routine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was what those 2 days were like. It was brutal. That was a lot of jumping.
It was
hard. It was a cool experience, and we got to meet new people and like
we made some friends from Arizona and from Kentucky.
Yeah, it was cool. And sometimes we still see them at like competitions, and we're like, oh my gosh. Then we get to New York in November, Thanksgiving week. We have two practices, and then the parade. So like, it's basically the same as Ohio. We had a 9-hour practice, and then the next day a 9-hour practice, and the next day was the parade. We were all at the same hotel, and oh my gosh, it was so fun. We would all 120 of us were in like matching outfits because we had practice shirts for these that like said Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. We were all in the same hotel. We would go meet in the ballroom,
which was on the 5th floor.
Yeah. Then
the escalators.
The escalators
only went up to the fifth floor.
So we'd all go down the escalators together, and it's just like
it would take
all
up, like,
these people.
all 5 escalators,
it was cool.
and we were all in like matching outfits, and it looked so cool.
And then we took like
so
charter.
powerful, like.
It was so fun, and like all the people looking at us, and we would like walk through the streets sometimes of New York, like just walking in a group of 120 people, and it was like so cool.
In matching outfits. And we all had to get white shoes.
Yeah, white shoes.
We were all wearing white shoes. We had like all
matching
were in
shirts.
Like black shorts.
We all had braids,
shirts,
pretty much.
We all had.
Should we talk about? So braids are like the main like jump rope hairstyle. Like, you know, for cheer, it's like the high ponytail or whatever. For for jump rope, it's braids. Like everyone does 2 French braids.
Yeah.
And because it's
like
just
the most convenient. It, like, keeps
it stays out of your face. Your hair isn't like going all around unless you have long hair.
Mine still kind of does that, but sometimes you have to like tuck it in.
It's really nice. But for days, even if I'm not competing, for days when I'm jumping all day, I like love having braids because it just doesn't get in your face and stuff. But anyways, so we're all matching. But and we took 2 different charter buses to the locations we were practicing, eating lunch, whatever. And we did the same things we did in Ohio, but last minute they changed it so everyone was doing the single rope routine because the double dutch was just not working. And this was like
didn't have enough ropes.
2 days before we were performing. We didn't have enough ropes.
Think about it, there's 4 people in a double dutch group and you only have 2 double dutch
and the ropes are too long.
But they're too short for you to just cut in half.
So basically what they had to do, they spent, was it that night? The first night? Yeah, they spent hours cutting the ropes and then using this red tape. They had to stitch them together and take them back together. So some people got Frankenstein ropes like that, but I got a full rope, which was
I got
nice.
a full rope too.
Sometimes we still jump with these to like
as like a
workout. It burns. It burns. They were so thick and heavy. The next day, we all had to learn the single rope routine.
They changed the routine the day before Macy's.
Like halfway through the day, they changed the routine.
The first night is when we did our practice.
Yeah, we did our practice. We all walked to Herald Square together and we did the practice performance and like the music played and like, but anyways, it was just not cutting it. Like it wasn't wow. And so we had to add like some more difficult things into it to make it look better, and literally 2 days before. So we had the next day
to learn a new routine.
To learn a whole new routine, and that was it for like, it was crazy.
We had to get up so early, and it was so cold outside. We had to just like stand in the cold for like 2 hours.
Yeah, we were in this little alleyway. The dancers and the cheerleaders were in front of us because they were going first. We were just waiting there.
The dancers and the cheerleaders,
they just got to walk.
The whole
we had to jump the whole thing.
And then did their like performance at Herald Square at the end, but we had to jump the whole freaking 3 miles
and then do a performance
in masks the whole time. I have jumped like for a lot of hours, right?
Yeah.
But my toes
have
never hurt worse than the next day after Thanksgiving, after jumping for 2 hours straight. Like my toes were in so much pain.
We waited in there for like 2 hours. It was freezing, and all we had were these thin jackets because like they just had these like bags for everyone to put their jackets in. Yeah, so we had these thin jackets on, and then finally we kept inching up, and then and it was super cool because you could see, we're like in this little alleyway, but like you could see the balloons coming by, and it was so cool to like hear everyone cheer and be like, oh my gosh. We brought like gloves and like headbands just in case it was too cold, but we ended up just wearing the like black long sleeve undershirt. And then let me show you my uniform. So this was the shirt, Jumpers Unite for the Macy's Parade. And then there's like stuff on the side. And then the pants are like this with like stripes. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then so we wore the like long sleeve shirt under, and that's all. And it was like super cold outside, but
anyways. It was like the perfect temperature when we jumped. But so like just before it was.
This is the beaded rope we jumped with the entire parade.
Because it was as you can see theme.
I jumped on a lot of like concrete with this. This is the other handle that says Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. But anyways, and it was like Christmas themed. So basically what would happen, we had our own row and there were like a lot of rows, and we were in the same row right next to each other. But anyways, we basically jumped in those rows the whole time, and then every like, I don't know how long, the first row would go back. There were people in the back that were like squirting water in their mouths, and then you had to just keep going. You had to like run to the back and then get some water and then keep going, and it was like crazy. And it was,
and you'd like choke on the water because they were just like spraying it in your mouth, and you had a mask, so you were like pulling it down, putting it back up, and then you're like inhaling a soggy mask.
Yeah, it was like, ugh. But also our shirts were waterproof. We had to spray waterproofing on them just in case it rained. So it was like the water would just like bounce off. It was so funny. It was cool because since we were like splitting off and going to the back, every single row got to be in the front at one point, and it was cool. It was so cool being in the front and like hearing everyone cheer for you.
I think the first 2 rows like split to the back, but you had an odd number.
Oh yeah.
So like eventually you'd be at the front because you had to like go to the back a few times to like get water. You know? Yeah,
it was
because it was 2 hours.
But it was just so like magical, like hearing everyone cheer for you, and each new place you got to, like everyone was cheering. Sometimes it would be a little slow and like you would be in the same place for like 2 minutes,
and
but people would stop cheering. But
then you would turn a new corner, so cool. And everyone was like cheering like crazy.
It was just such a cool experience. And then like the adrenaline is what kept me going for those 3 miles, because we definitely could have trained more for it. Like other teams trained a lot more than us.
Yeah, but that's okay.
We had been doing laps around the elementary school we practiced at. So then we like got to the end and we saw Herald Square, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. And then we got in our rows for the like performance, and we had our ropes with us, and we got to take our masks off, and then we were on Herald Square on the carpet, and everyone was cheering, and it was like literal chills, like so cool. And then we heard the music start, and then we went, and I got the whole routine clean. It was so good.
Me too.
And it was just
like run off stage,
but we got to like wave to everyone when we were like running off. It was so cool. And then
we like walked,
and then we were done.
Hotel.
That was like the happiest, most
fulfilled
I had ever felt in my life.
And I like passed out on my hotel bed. I just like slept for like 2 hours.
But like finishing that performance and the parade route, and then just like talking to everyone else, like as we were walking, we walked to like the steps of for pictures, and we got water, and we were all just like, oh my gosh, we did it. Like that is like one of the like most fulfilling moments of my life. Like it was just so cool. Like it was crazy. And then we both went to our hotels and like passed out, and I ate so much food because I was so hungry like after that, because I hadn't eaten like all morning. And then they ruined my Thanksgiving, because I wasn't hungry for Thanksgiving because I just had eaten a bunch of food before when I got home or to the hotel.
But it's okay. That was definitely the most interesting Thanksgiving that I've ever had. I like had like a cheeseburger for dinner.
Yeah, we went to like a restaurant that was serving Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, that was definitely the most memorable performance.